What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ICNVDriversedition. Today, I got another interesting conversation for you. But before we dive into it, let me remind you all that you were all made in His image and given dominion over the world, which means you weren't just meant to be. So chase your dreams, build your visions. Even if that's not a customized car or it's your personalized lifestyle, don't be afraid to chase your dreams and desires. Remember, we were all given unique gifts to become the best versions of us that we can possibly be. So step into your calling and become the blessing to the world that you were meant to be. Remember, you can be the one and not the one at the same time because it's okay to be unique. Just remember to stay humble, stay focused, and stay blessed. And many people never hear this message at the end of my videos because they don't go through the entire video. I decided to share it with you today because I have been running into a lot of individuals personally out here in these streets. A lot of people are going through things. A lot of people are getting rid of cars for multiple reasons. And I just felt the need to give some words of encouragement because I'm having a lot of different conversations that I guess comes from brotherhoods in the community that I wasn't expecting to have when I started this channel. So let's dive into the real topic of this video now, right after this. All right, everybody, the Grand Sport has come out, and we've seen some favorite content creators actually get their hands on cars. But what's kind of interesting this time around is there are more normal people getting their hands on cars before actual content creators. But Paragon Corey has gotten his car, Brink of Speed has gotten his car, and Austin, on the other hand, hasn't gotten his, which is actually kind of surprising, but it is what it is. So at this point, I want to apologize because I'm not going to be able to make it to Corvette Invasion. I really didn't publicize it too much, but I did mention it before that I was planning on being there. But because of my schedule, I'm not going to be able to make it. So I'm sure guys are going to have a great time out there. And you're probably going to see some nice Grand Sports. And I expect Brink of Speed's Grand Sport to be live, present, and full in attendance. But let's move on. So now that the Grand Sport has come out, as a little jab, and I say this again, as a little jab, I'm going to comment on the simple fact that I got so much hate mail in the comments below from previous videos before the Grand Sport actually hit the street, stating that the Corvette Grand Sport would do 0 to 60 faster than the C8 Z06. I was also told because of the high torque numbers compared to what the Z06 torque values are, and I have videos discussing this, that the Z06 would be slower in the quarter mile than the actual base Grand Sport. And I have to laugh at this because there were so many people that believe because of the higher torque performance that it would allow the Grand Sport with a lot less horsepower to beat the Z06 in the quarter mile run. And I even told people, and I even made a video saying you don't really understand how torque and horsepower truly work. Well, Paragon Corey has gotten his car. He's dropping content on his ride home. He dropped the real world, I would say 0 to 60 run based on the car's computer. And his run was like 3.1 seconds. Now, I'm telling you, there are other people out that have done 0 to 60 time pulls. And the best time I've seen posted so far on Facebook has been 2.7 seconds. Now, in the comments of a previous video, someone said that the onboard logger is proven to be errored and not correct and so forth. And all I will sit there and say to you is this, that if that is true, maybe it's true, maybe some people have debunked it. I'm not getting onto all those different parameters, but what I will sit there and say to you is that not even using the onboard computer, there have been recorded actual drag strip times. Take a look at my man Jesse Wu with his Z06, and he has a video where he talks about, or should I say, he showcases the actual drag strip reader reading his quarter mile time, which actually was posted higher than the original factory's quarter mile run time. And a lot of people use third-party devices to track their 0 to 60 runs. And I've seen these third-party devices, which are supposed to be 98, 99% accurate based off their, claims. They have come out and still posted faster times recorded in the Z06, in the C8, in Mustangs, and other cars, and nobody's argued them. But for some odd reason, we all want to argue the performance done by GM. Now that I got that part out the way, the Grand Sport has actually come out, and the biggest surprise to me is the size. And I said again, the size of the badging on the side of the car. It is huge. It's a lot bigger than what I expected it to be. And seeing the videos of people showcasing in person really explains, or should I say demonstrates, how much bigger it is than compared to the Z06 badging and the E-Ray badging. But the question is, how many people will leave the badging on the car? Austin has already heard the video kind of summing up what I've said before, that the look of the Grand Sport, it's so close to the C8 Z06 that we can't tell it apart from any of the other vehicles GM has made. And that's kind of part of the point. GM has built every car in essence to look like the C8 Z06. Whereas I get it, we're going to have the people come out and say, well, what did you want it to look like? And I would just say this. If they're following Porsche's model, which it tends to feel like they are, with the different type of options and variety offering within the C8 platform, there are other ways to change the look of the car. For instance, they could have did double hood scoops on one version of the car, or even open up a couple different channel airlocks like they did, or air vents to send cooling to brakes and other components like they did with the ZR1. But at the end of the day, I guess what we're really sitting there saying is just break up the image or the view slightly. That way, every car doesn't look entirely like each other. And I think that would have been a better model to give a different viewpoint amongst all the variety. A lot of people do like the wide body stands, but at the same point in time, a lot of people want to have their own identity with the vehicle. And because they look so much alike, it's actually for people who can't spend the money to get a Z06, it's more appealing. And for people that have spent the money to get the Z06 or are spending higher pricing for cars that aren't Z06s but still in that price range, you want people to know or distinct between your vehicle and what they assume it is to be. So yes, when you ask me, I think having a different look for each version of the car would have been a better option. But I kind of drift away from the point. My point is that the Grand Sport is out now, and we're seeing some real world information. Paragon Corey on his drive home dropped a quarter mile run, 3.1 second 0 to 60 time, and so forth. I ask you again, between the Grand Sport and the base C8, and I'm going to refer to the base C8 as the 6.2 liter first version of the C8, the performance isn't that big of a difference. Now, where you're probably going to see the significant change in the cars is going to be the aftermarket options. I do believe the new engine will be more moddable, and you would get a lot more performance out the mods added to this engine compared to the last engine, and you're going to see some huge jumps. And based off that information alone, I feel like I know it would be enough justification for many people to step up into the bigger, more powerful, more recent, more built engine. But honestly, when you look at the market, most Corvette owners do not mod their cars. Actually, a large part of the Corvette community, or should I say the historical Corvette community, does not mod their cars. Meaning they do not do real significant performance changes to their cars. Yes, we may get more air filters, different air filters added to the car to let the car breathe more. And yes, we may see an upgrade on the exhaust system. But when it comes to like superchargers, prochargers, turbochargers, and things of that nature, over 80% of the Corvette market does not mod their cars. So when you're talking about those type of performance gaps and changes, the new engine doesn't really seem to be that significant to those. Now, I feel like the combination of the new engine and the interior can be intriguing, but how intriguing is that to pay more for what you're getting for the car? And this has always been my viewpoint when it came to the new Grand Sport and the new version of the C8 being released. And so far, like I stated before, we are seeing that the production numbers are heavily in favor of the Grand Sport, as it's making up almost 38% of the new production of the Corvettes being released, which I expected. And right now we're seeing GM focus on pushing out a lot of Grand Sports. We're probably going to see that the Grand Sport production this year alone will make up 70 to 80% of the total Z06 production over the past few years. Let that sink in. But at this point, I think the Grand Sport is very intriguing for a lot of owners, and for whatever reason, people are finding, I would say, excuses or desires to buy the car. But as the pricing goes up with these bills, I'm seeing a lot of people step back or pull back on options that they want, which to me becomes quite concerning, because I'm a fan of buy the car you want, get the car that you desire. And just hearing some people discuss their bills and what they're willing to spend on a car is showcasing that all of a sudden now carbon fiber isn't important. Whereas in the past bills, people couldn't build a car without carbon fiber. You're now seeing that front lift for a lot of people isn't necessary. You're seeing that other options like the stealth interior package and things of that nature aren't necessary. And I get it. You can get a lot of these options on aftermarket and I guess save your money or utilize your money later and save costs on the actual build today. But I think this is a true sign right now that this Grand Sport is really becoming an excessive build. And I know there's one person that posted a video, I can't remember who it was at this point, where he was showcasing that his 2LT build, yes, 2LT Grand Sport build, without the Z52 package, all the aero and so forth, was creeping into $120,000 territory. And when I just look at that, it's hard for me to even grasp that today we're trying to justify the $120,000 price purchase as if it's okay. But 2 years ago, the argument was that buying a Z06 at $120,000 or $125,000 for a 3LT was outrageous and didn't make sense. So let that sink in on just how much that when the market shifts and the pricing increases, how people will justify anything. Why is it not okay one day, and then the next year you want to make it seem like it's the normal, it's the standard, and it should be accepted? That's just conditioning my way. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into that conversation. But ultimately, the Grand Sport is out. The information the Times is putting down right now doesn't seem that impressive. And other than the name, is there any real significant reason why you're desiring or looking to purchase this car? Unless you're trying to look like something you're not. And there has been a lot of videos surfacing talking about, I built the car because it reminds me of the Z06, but I wasn't trying to get all that track performance or that sound. That sound wasn't a Corvette sound. It wasn't a true Chevy sound. It wasn't a true Corvette sound. It's more European, and I didn't want the European note. But you wanted the Z06 and the performance. So you're buying the Grand Sport because it's the next closest thing. Let that sink in. Because there's so many people that say the reason why you buy a Grand Sport has nothing to do with you wanting or the desire of a Z06. But then we're hearing a lot of people about the Grand Sport because they desire to own a Z06 or the look of a Z06. And this was a cheaper, more affordable cost. It's whatever. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. ICNV Drivers. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the ICNV Drivers community. We're an interactive community, which means if you hit me up on any one of my social media platforms or in the comments below, I'll do my best to respond. If the topic you bring up is interesting enough, I may even shoot a video on it. We're also a community of car enthusiasts that love to drive cars that make you turn your head, that aren't your everyday people movers. If you're one of those individuals, go ahead and lock into the channel because we have more interesting content coming your way that you don't want to miss. But don't forget, we were all made in His image and given dominion over the world, which means we weren't just meant to be. So chase your dreams, build your visions, never ever give up. I mean, be honest, what is the world without hope? We will all give unique gifts to become the best versions of us that we can possibly be. So step into your calling and become the blessing to the world that you were meant to be. Remember, you can be the one and not the one at the same time, because it's okay to be unique. But just stay humble, stay focused, and stay blessed. And I'll see you in these streets. Peace.